Hello and welcome to the weekend edition, Mazden. Thank you for joining us for yet another classic episode. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori Mazden. Tonight's episode has answers to historically lingering questions like, did Mzee Jomo Kenyatta really cane his ministers when they misbehaved? His longest-serving aide-de-camp, retired Major Mazden Madoka, will tell us about that because he was behind and around the president almost all the time. Na bado, he also leaked to us what it meant kitu kikudanganya ukatie mtu mwenye the president considered as family. That's coming up in a bit. Our reporter Kenyanjui is also on standby with some good vibes about vitu zime happen kwa news. So much events to talk about from across the week. The fight against COVID-19 continues. This week, that even hippos tested positive for COVID. And how Mazden kutuma kutafuta hippopotamus. Alafu still on the fight against COVID-19, the health CS Mutahi Hikagwe had this request for politicians.
Na mimi nawasihi wanasiasa jameni, kabla hatujaanza maneno ya siasa, kila mkutano tunaeleza watu tafadhali nenda upate chanjo. Kwa sababu chanjo ndio inaweza saidia wewe ukipata corona, ukiwa umechanjwa pengine unaweza.
Just how ambitious was the CS on this one? I know he means well, but what's in it for politicians? They that have been called super spreaders, what's in it for them if Kenyans get vaccinated? How do politicians benefit if Kenyans get vaccinated in a country where people are said to vote even when they are dead? Good luck with that, Bwana CS. And still on politicians, it has been a week of promises. Leaders have decided to take it a notch higher this time. Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua has promised you this.
Newlyweds, wale wameoana hivi majuzi, will receive an initial capital from my government of 500,000 shillings to 1 million shillings in kind, payable over 20 years at an interest rate of 0.5% as a gift from the government to invest into their new home.
500,000 to 1 million shillings to start a business. Money to be paid in 20 years. Sounds too good to be true, but I think the governor promised this knowing very well there is no way a marriage can last that long hata ukiwa na pesa. Manze, the governor also went ahead to promise swimming pools across the country.
To encourage the growth of the swimming sport in the country, every county will be encouraged to have public swimming pools in all towns. Unajua watoto wetu wanakufa sana kwa maji. People don't know how to swim. Hata huyu mzee ananiangalia sana hajui kuogelea. Akiona maji anakufa tu. We don't know how to swim. We need to have swimming pools so that our children, if they are crossing rivers and something goes wrong or there's a dam they are playing around, do not die.
I don't think he means like swimming pools literally. I believe by the time inafika hiyo time, people will be able to swim in potholes. Unajua, if the governor Mutua becomes president, kila county kiwa na swimming pools yote tutakuwa maoga. Uga. Now that's not all. The One Kenya Alliance team has this in store for you if they form government next year.
Kuingia kila mwananchi wa Kenya, awe msukuma bodaboda, awe mama mboga, awe ni nani, hata warembo wetu wenye mnafanya ile kazi ya jioni, kila mtu atapata kadi ya NHIF.
Now, I get that politicians have to make promises, but hiyo ya wanadada wa kazi ya jioni sijaelewa. Why not promise to create alternative jobs for them, Mazi? Medical cover, really? At this rate, in one of these rallies, utasikia wezi pia wapewe bulletproofs for their safety wakiwa kazini. In other news, high school fires have continued across the country, and this time round with a fresh twist after a student set the country on fire from the comfort of his parents' home.
Watagwan Kenya, it's your boy Trio Meal. It's a fine morning that God has blessed us with. Niko Hai, I'm Shukuru, and it's my hope that everyone akofiti sindio. So this week on Friday, nitakuwa pale Kasarani kwa functionia, none other than Baba Mheshimiwa. So kujeni to see the big announcement that he's going to reveal that special day. Na kama kawa, ya pangwengwi, ya no pangana. So, mokalize.
Now, this endorsement by a teenager has elicited mixed reactions from complaints about underage kid being involved in politics to a section of Kenyans supporting the move, wakisema wacheni kijana atengeneze pesa. Baba's camp response reads, wacheni watoto waje kwa baba. Haters wanauliza, who is a gentleman not qualified to be a voter going to influence? Alafu video ya baba kwa concert ya Trio Mio ikatokea. Interestingly, kuna ma-parents kadhaa hapo ndani ya hiyo crowd. Some haters chose not to politicize this at all. Nilisikia mmoja akiuliza kama Trio Mio akichunwa vizuri anaweza ongea na mdomo straight.
Ya pangwengwe, ya upangana. So, mokalize.
Mokalize. But why did ODM settle on Trio Mio by then? Najua watu wanasema ODM are cloud chasing. But could it be that Baba has something in common with Trio Mio? So many questions answered. But then if this means that the musicians has joined the ODM camp, then it means now the ODM party ikona babu, baba na mtoto. Now we head to the second part of our interview with retired Major Mazden Madoka. You went to school with Akina General Kibwana, and some of the people you went to school with came to be very prominent people in the army. Yeah. Was this a coincidence, or there is some role of peer pressure in how you guys ended up serving in very senior positions in the army?
I don't think there was any peer pressure.
Yes.
In fact, many people were very critical of me for joining the army.
Okay.
My mother cried when I said I'd been called to go to Makerere. First of all, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I had to go to Dar es Salaam. The competition was too stiff. Then I was invited to go to Makerere to go and take political science, which was my second choice.
Okay.
But really, my heart was not there. So when I decided to go into the army, my mother was really disturbed. You know, those days, mtoto wako anaenda Makerere.
Yes, yes, yes.
Alafu tena nakataa kwenda. I mean, you know,
yes.
Going to Makerere was something.
Yes.
Right? But I said, no, I have made the decision.
Okay.
So I went. Kibwana and Co, we were together at Shimulatewa. And they were junior to me. So they went straight into the Navy. But so for me, I went to the Army. In fact, when I went into the Army, I did not want to go to the school they had called Mons Officer Cadet School. I had wanted to go to the famous Sandhurst Officer Training School,
Okay.
which trained all the top officers in the British Army. So I was not very keen that we were going to go to some special group, because they decided to make a special Kenya platoon to be trained as officers in the UK, to be able to accelerate the replacement of the whites in the army.
Ah, so racism was a big thing in Kenya then, because you talk of replacing the whites,
Yeah.
you talk of attending the first school, the first interracial school.
Yes.
Being in an interracial school was that much of a big deal that what that means is in Kenya there was a time that we had segregation.
But of course.
It didn't matter how much money you had. So we had like a mini apartheid at some point.
Well, I don't want to put it that way, but of course there was that conflict. So even going to school, the certain parents, once we got in, decided to pull them out. Pull their children.
Hospital Hill.
Oh, Hospital Hill. Although it was specifically started as a multiracial school.
Wow.
But then there was that sort of challenge, because now amongst the Africans, there was Dr. Mwathi and his children, there was Zagichagas and his children, the Waruhus, the senior chief, the family of the Waruhus.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then this young Madoka from Taita Hills in the group. Then we had some other Simeon Tabu from the coast. So we had a small group, and we were brought up with them.
It was such a small group that you can actually remember all.
The whole school, we were 38.
The whole school?
Yes, that's how it started. 38.
38 students?
Yes. So because they found that it was difficult to try and integrate all of us together at a go.
Yes.
So that's how it started. Okay. So we were there, and we started building up the team, and it went on very well, I must say. Very well.
Okay.
Yes, among some of the other fellows who were there then, I don't know where he is now, John Anand.
Okay.
John Anand, he was with the county government for a while.
Okay.
Some time back. He was there with his sister, and then other fellows as well.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from your experience working, from your school experience, working in the military, joining the ADC, getting to the captain level, and now, Cesar, your experience serving the president. As an ADC, you're supposed to be with the president, I believe, all the time. There was a rumor, please help us clear this, that Mzee Jomo Kenyatta used to cane people. Minister anakuja anakula viboko. As in, if this is true, were you witnessing this ama kiboko ilikuwa separate? You could witness kiboko ya kina the President Uhuru, but hii ingine was now top-level government. I
think there is a bit of an exaggeration.
Oh, really?
Yes, maybe my wife would be able to know the inner stories, but, but I really don't think he wishes to cane ministers and so on.
Yes.
But I know he had his cane.
Yes.
So mtu akifanya tukutu kidogo, you know.
Or just threatening?
Yeah, not really beating them up.
Ah, kushtua tu.
Yes, but I've never saw him beating any of the other officers.
And
as a joke, maybe, but really no.
Oh, but he's beat them as a joke.
Well, no. More freako you. No, I mean, I really didn't see him do that.
You do realize that you have lived a whole spectrum of the Kenyatta family. You started when Kenyatta was older than you, and now you are around when Kenyatta is younger than you.
The youngest.
Yes. It's a very... God bless you and add you more years. And in terms of the highlights of your life, what moment do you remember the most in your years of service?
Service in the army or...
In government?
You know, in government.
I'll talk of historical moments like your contribution in sports. There was a time that Kenya boycotted the Olympics for political reasons as a protest, I remember.
Yes.
There's
that's the Edmonton
Yes. You have worked, you have seen figures like Kenneth Matiba in their prime. He was a colleague of yours at some point.
Yes.
You have seen the multi-party elections. You've seen the struggle, pre-independence and post-independence. You've seen the shifter wars. You've seen the NAC wave of 2002. In fact, you are the Coast MP who actually sailed against the current to win on a canoe ticket.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You stood against the NAC wave,
Yes.
and I don't even think anyone would have dared to go against that then, based on how popular that is.
Yeah.
These are just historical moments that come to mind as far as you're concerned, and you have witnessed the 1982 coup, everything. Are there moments that you sit and think about going back to what happened in that moment, things that the ones you think about the most? I know we can't talk about all of them, but moments that you actually go back to and...
Phew. You see, it's quite a period, and
Yes, yes.
I acted on my how shall I put it? I acted on my senses. In other words, here I am serving President Kenyatta.
Yes.
There's no way I would have gone against him. Absolutely not.
Yes.
As a soldier, my loyalty to the president is priority.
Okay.
So there's no way I would have gone against the president. And I developed a relationship with all the ministers, basically. I don't think I've ever disagreed with them.
Okay.
The thing is, I was behaving like a good young officer. Yes, sir. You know, mambo hivi namna gani, nambo ya ni hivi, sir.
Yes.
So I never had any challenges with the other ministers
Okay.
when there were questions of decisions to be made.
Okay.
Yes.
You lived your life.
I lived my life, and I stayed in the ADC's house in the State House compound,
Okay.
and in the process, my time was not wasted.
Okay.
I acquired myself a wife.
There you did not waste time. I read the story. I read the story.
Yeah.
You actually chose the best. You actually chose the creme de la creme of that time.
I don't know whether I'm the one who chose or whether she chose me.
On another platform, she said you worked too hard. You worked for 5 years. So most likely it's you who chose.
Yes.
Yes. And
Well, I mean, it was mutual. But she almost messed up my life.
wow.
Yes. Because what happened
Yes.
is the ADCs and the messes they were making,
Yes.
I was told to be careful about this lady. If I get too close
Okay.
and President Kenyatta gets to know about it, I may find myself losing a job. So we had to play it fairly tactfully.
Wow.
So I lived in a State House compound. The house was there, but she lived in State House itself.
Uh-huh.
Okay, very lonely life, but maybe that's why she remained fairly disciplined. Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm waiting for the part where you throw stones to the State House window so that she can come out. Or you didn't have that?
I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do that because I had to be extra cautious, because even then the army commander warned me, now behave yourself, don't do like what other people were doing, and you know your colleague lost his job because of interfering with his family. The ADC lost his job. So I was cautioned, look, chunga sana. Macho haya ya kitaita ya chunge yasione mbali zaidi.
Now it makes sense. When you say that there is another ADC that had misbehaved, so chances are they lost their job for being cute.
Well, whichever way.
Yes.
So after my first 6 months, because ADCs only stayed for 6 months.
Only?
Only.
Why is that?
But then, because there is no military work, it's really more ceremonial.
Okay.
But when it came to my term had come to an end, they had to get another ADC.
Yes.
Now, Kenyatta said, no, I don't want another ADC. I want to stay.
And that's how you got to maintain.
So I had an extended term.
Okay.
For another 6 years. 6 months.
Okay.
I think that is where then we started strengthening our relationship. So I think.
Wow.
In fact, I'll go a step further. She messed up my job.
At some point?
At some point.
Tell us about that.
What happened is, you see, when I was posted to Gilgil,
yes,
to go and take command of the parachute company, which has been formed into a battalion. And we were just about to get married. So, because of her love for me, she said, there's no way I'm going to be left in Nairobi. I leave the job and go and stay with my husband at Gilgil. So she went and told Mzee, look Mzee, huyu mtu ni rafiki yangu. And
still at that time it was a secret?
Well, we hadn't got married yet.
Okay.
So she said, you know, siwezi kukubali aende akae huko peke yake. Of course, I know her fears. Anyway. So we agreed. The Kenyatta rang the Mulinge and told Mulinge, who is the commander-in-chief? It is me.
Yes.
Right? You cannot allow a major to take my secretary from State House,
wow,
kwenda Gilgil. So move Madoka back to somewhere in the headquarters.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, I was really looking forward to setting up this battalion, and, you know, there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement because, you know, it's a challenge developing it into a battalion.
Yes.
And I was very discouraged that I lost my job. Oh, job I was going to get because of her.
But you lost a fraction of your job.
Well, I mean, my personal
passion, what you wanted to do.
I was getting somewhere. I thought I'd captured something which was quite valuable.
But if you serve, but you may have lost that, but you gained her. But if you have served the level of being behind the president, is there another better position you can serve? Because the president is the commander-in-chief. You are his person. Going back, are you still, if you are behind the president as the ADC, He's the commander-in-chief.
Yes.
You still take commands from the army head? Or you take instructions from the president?
Ultimately, yes. Ultimately. But you see, when I'm attached to his office,
Yes.
I remain loyal to the president.
So basically, you become your boss's boss.
Yes, if you want to put it that way. Right?
Amekuwa guest of power, si ndio? Wapi makofi yake? Asante sana, and thank you for being patient with us, and thank you for giving us your time and sharing that information with us.
No, asanteni sana for this great audience. I'm a very shy person.
Okay.
People don't believe it, but I am.
But if with all the shyness you got Miss Uhuru in 1963, uko tu sawa. So, shyness is overrated. Asante sana.
Asanteni sana.
Okay.
Na mimi natakeni heri na baraka katika kazi zenu, sports writers or even journalists, whatever area. You have a big challenge to keep us well informed, because sometimes you people also mislead us. Mnaandika ma stories ambayo si ya kweli. I think you also need to take it upon yourself, because you are in that position to be able to communicate factual information which will help in strengthening this country, because it's critical.
Yes. Thank you for that explanation, because you lost me hapo kwa ukisema you people sometimes mislead us. I thought like missing them. Like, oh, maze. Chira wali Makwere alienda wapi? Asante sana for the clarification.
Asante.
Karibu. That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.